Hi, everybody. So, wee bit of alchemy. I'm Rick Barrett. Welcome. Today, we're going to explore what it means to have Jin in your Taiji form, but also in anything else. And I'll go and get into an explanation of what Jin actually is and why it's important. And then we'll take it from there, and we'll do some exercises to actually see how you can check yourself to develop your own Jin, and then how to put it into a Taiji posture. So to begin, the Jin, Jin, is a Chinese word. It's a key element in the internal martial arts, particularly Taijiquan, and it's usually translated as internal power, and that kind of a descriptive phrase, but it doesn't really get to the heart of it. And I think the best job that I've seen, the best translation I've seen, is from Dr. Yang Ming, who says, if you look in the Chinese dictionary, he said Qin will be defined as either I Chi or Qi Yi. I'm sorry, Li Qi or Qi Li, with Li being the your muscular power. So as you're talking about your physical force, right? Your ability to use your muscles, your body to execute this, and plus your chi, your internal energy. And so how much of each is going to have a big effect on your ability to sense your Jin and also to be able to use it. The definition that I have come up with for to explain the way I like to think about it, it is that it is your energy that is being directed by your consciousness and expressed through your body. So that kind of gives you the elements there. You have to have energy. You have to be able to use your mind to direct it, your E, and then it's expressed through your body somehow. So, and there are myriad ways of expressing energy through your body. So the key is to get the sense of what Jin is itself, and then you can play around with the forms to get different expressions of it. There are lots of common Jins that, core Jins of Taijiquan, like Peng Jin is the, ward off, roll back, push, and press. Those are like the four basic ones. And then you have splitting energy, you have the splitting.
Plucking.
What's that? Plucking, elbow Jin and shoulder Jin. So those are your 8 primary Jins. The primary and the secondary Jins, and you get to what they call the Ba Men. Ba is the number 8. So Ba Men means these 8 gates, these 8 energy gates, and so they allow you to express the energy through. So the key to it is to be able, first of all, have lots of energy, and that's what we spent a lot of time in these classes. We start with the 3 pillars, and we connect up to the big chi, so we have lots of energy, and that helps you. The more chi you have available, the more Jin you're going to have available, but also you're going to notice it more. If you have you're very little extra chi, so you're kind of moving along at subsistence level, you're not going to be able to notice some of the effects that are created. Even if you're using your mind to direct it, it's like you don't have enough energy to create a significant effect. think of as like air. Air is very insubstantial. It's something that, we don't even, we think about it whenever we're breathing or whatever, but it's very insubstantial compared to most of the other things that we're encountering, the other physical things. But whenever the air gets really intense and moves at a high velocity, say like in a tornado, then we notice it. And if you blow with your mouth, there'll be a stream of air which will then be noticeable. And so there's a concentration there. Same thing with chi. If we concentrate the energy, we have a lot of it, but we also kind of narrow our focus. This is what consciousness does. It narrows focus so that allows us to direct this energy. Then we can have something which can do tricks for us, which is kind of cool. And but besides its value as being able to allow you to express internal power, there's much more. In fact, you could say, just in terms of internal power, you could say, and I do say, that the Taiji form is great for lots of things, but as a martial art, it's not really useful unless you're doing it with Jin. The moves themselves are designed specifically to express Jin, but they're not real strong if you use Li or muscular strength. And so that's why in the classics they keep talking about, use your Jin, not your Li. And so what we're going to do today is get some really fundamental ways of thinking about Jin and to be able to experience it in our bodies and to be able to see its effects. And by using our, being able to do it solo, because that's something that I can do, if I'm with somebody and I can show them in minutes, what this is all about. But it's harder to translate the words into actual phenomena when you're working by yourself, because your mind's always saying, am I playing tricks? Am I just pretending that this is happening? And whereas if you're working with someone else, then there's an external frame of reference there that allows for at least some objectivity in the discussion. But in terms of Jin, beyond its ability to give your Taijiquan form internal power so that you can use it as a martial art, it also is the pathway to spiritual awakening, spiritual illumination. It is a path. It is not the only path, but it is a path. And this is something in the Yang Family 40 chapters, they talk about this. And it's like you begin by learning to consciously feel and do. Then you graduate to be able to understand Jin, be able to understand how this Jin is expressed. And then from there, you move to spiritual awakening, spiritual illumination. And I see it more as a circle. You're a circular process where you're maybe even a spiraling process where you're spiraling upward. You're going through these stages, and then you go around again. It's like circumnavigating a mountain. You go around it, and you're seeing it from different sides. And as you go up the mountain, you see the same sights, but you're seeing them from different perspectives. And that's whenever I think of spiritual awakening, spiritual illumination, that's something that we can get at any stage of the game. But it keeps getting better. The more chi you get, the more you're able to bring your conscious awareness to your feeling and your doing. And it keeps getting more and more pronounced, more and more substantial for you. So let's stand up and explore some Jin. Okay, let's begin by establishing our three pillars. This is something we'd like to do when we do any kind of these movements. And and primarily to establish the foundation in our body so that we can access the big chi and then circulate it freely throughout the body. So begin by feeling, what we call the three nails, the points on your feet that on the big toe line, which are prominent points, the heel, the ball of the foot, and the big toe itself, the pad of the big toe. And if you want to feel the three nails on both feet. This is something that I learned from Master William C.C. Chen, and it has served me well. This was going back like 30 years ago, but it's something that it has stuck with me, and it's a very valuable tool for making your connection with the earth. And we can direct our awareness to each of the nails as depending on what effect we want to create. Now, if we go sink into the heel nail so that most of our weight is centered around the heel, we are moving more of a yin direction. That is, the energy is moving down and in, it's calming, it's centering, it's grounding. So if you sink into that, your knees are unlocked, you kind of just allow your legs to get soft and you're sinking down into the earth. And by doing this, we're opening up the yang chuan points in the balls of the feet, what's called the bubbling well or bubbling spring. It's in the center of the feet, and it's a major energy gate. It's one of the five major, there are two of the five major energy gates. And this allows us to connect up with the yin chi of the earth. Allows the earth chi to rise and connect up and fill us. Now reach with the crown of your head and tuck in your chin. And doing so, you open up the jade pillow gate at the base of your skull. And by reaching up with the crown of your head very gently, very light, it's almost like your head is floating up. You're accessing the yang chi of the heavens. It comes down to the bai hui point, right at the top of your head. And the yang chi of the heavens, the expansive, active, opening energy that fills your body. And it mingles with the yin chi of the earth. And what we're doing here is we're filling up the system. So we're no longer dependent on the small amount of personal chi that we have. We are filling up with the boundless energy of the universe. And we only get to take the tiniest fragment of that, but we have access to as much as we can tolerate. And the more we do this, the more tolerant we become of having lots and lots of energy. Having this excess of energy flowing through us then allows us to notice the internal power whenever we choose to access it. So what we're doing here is by connecting up the crown of the head and centering over the feet like this, we are entering into central equilibrium. We're looking for that sweet spot where it's almost a precarious state. It's like you're standing at the edge of a diving board. Your weight is really centered and you're preparing yourself for action. You go into the balls of your feet and feel the yang qi start to activate. We're centering over the balls of feet. You can press down lightly with the big toes and get even more yang qi happening throughout the body. Reach a little bit with your elbow, just arms slightly rounded. Notice I'm not doing this. I'm not jamming them out there, just slightly rounded, rotating my forearms so my palms are facing backward. And notice that by doing this, we open up the shoulder joints. We allow the chi to move through those important gates. So we're connecting up, and you may notice some sensations in your hands, some tingling, pulsing, sense of fullness. You may be able to notice the increase in blood circulating in your hands and your fingers as we do this. And it just indicates that the chi is connecting up throughout your whole body now. Your hands are a really good barometer for the chi flow in your body. Now point and reach with your index fingers. You can even wiggle them a little bit and just really feel your fingers. And what we're doing here is we're activating our energetic coherence. And this is the second pillar. The first one was central equilibrium. Second pillar is energetic coherence. And that is we're unifying the energy of the body into one coherent system. That means we're moving into a state of expanded wholeness. And there are infinite expressions of wholeness that one can experience. And this happens to be the wholeness you're experiencing right now. And the more you relax and circulate your energy and feel into that energetic coherence, the bigger the wholeness. Now, the third pillar, we've already initiated that by opening up the jade pillow gate, opening up the shoulders. But we're also, this one's the unkinking the hose. So what we're doing is we've already begun the process of opening up the circulation of the energy through the body. And the biggest valve we have here is at the qua, which is your hip joint, but primarily focusing on the inguinal crease, the part where your legs connect up with your torso. You know, if you're going to pick up something heavy, you know, you go down and you're going to bend there, and allows you fold at the qua so that you get that power. So the chi then, whenever we open up the qua, then the chi from the earth circulates more freely with your body. And yes, the yang chi of the heavens goes into your legs more. Basically, it's like a big energy gate here, a big gate valve that allows your energy to circulate between your legs and your torso. Allows you to experience your root even more pronouncedly. And so what we're going to do is just kind of very gently, soft, we're going to get very sung qua. Sung means to relax into your structure. And so you're just turning, but you're not just turning into kind of a sinking down and spiraling down each time you turn. So there's a very relaxed movement there. And what we're doing is we're releasing some of the muscular tension that restricts the flow of energy, particularly muscles that are really sensitive to a stress response. I'm thinking of the iliopsoas muscles, you know, which you feel right here. Yeah, the piriformis muscles, you can feel that in your butt whenever it tightens up and jams up your sacroiliac joint. And then it kind of creates that kind of irritation on your sciatic nerve. So we want to release that excess tension there, and just pause And just feel into your 3 nails. Sink back into your heels, relax. Allow yourself just to get very comfortable with your 3 pillars. And just crank up the energy just a little bit and into the balls of your feet. Reach with your wrists. Bring your arms up to about waist height. Reach with your fingers and extend, open your arms, press down with your big toes, and open your back. Just feel between your shoulder blades. Feel that opening there, and then exhale. Reach down with your elbows. Sink into your heels. Hands come down. Into the balls of your feet. Press down with the big toes. Reach with your wrists. Relax your fingers, and then reach with your fingers. Open between your shoulder blades. Reach out, open your joints. Feel that yang expansion. And then exhale, reach down with your elbows. Reach down with your hand, wrists, and the fingers fall. And one more. Balls of your feet, big toes, wrists, fingers. Open your back. Exhale, sink into your heels, wrists, fingers. And just notice the subtle changes that are happening in your body right now. Feel the chi. Now, sink into the balls of your feet, point your index fingers, and slowly rotate your forearms so your palms are forward. Inhale. Now exhale. Sink into your heels and rotate back. Inhale, balls of your feet, press down with your big toe, point your index fingers, rotate your forearms. Exhale, heels, rotate back. Inhale. Do your balls of your feet, big toes, point, open, expansion. Feel that yang expansion. Exhale, heels, yin. Rotate back. One more. Inhale, balls, toes, point. Yang, open. Feel your chest opening. Exhale, heels, rotate back. And relax. And eat the chi. By that I mean you're going into resonance with the energy as a thing, and you are taking it in. It's not, it becomes part of you. And there's an exchange that is occurring with your environment, an energetic exchange occurring with your environment as we do this. Okay, so now we're going to do some really simple stuff with Jin. First, we want to explore Song. Song, S-O-N-G, means to relax into your intrinsic structure. And so there's a distinction between total relaxation and Song. Sung means you're assuming a position and you're relaxing into that position. You're getting rid of any extraneous muscular tension. So let's, for instance, I'm going to grab my left hand here, and I'm going to grab with my my right hand. And I'm going to pick it up so that it's just hanging there. I wanted to say I want as close to no muscular effort on my in my left arm as possible, and I just let go, and the arm falls. You want to do that again. Just kind of you want to just get that so your arm is just, it's a hunk of dead meat there. It just, boom, it's just dropping, right? One more, you reach down, you pull it up, good, and then let go. Oh, okay. So that's what total relax. That's where, okay, that doesn't do as much good as martial artists, or even for, it's good for going to sleep, but it doesn't do as much good in terms of our activities. But now we're going to do something here, and we're going to point the index finger, accessing that pillar there, the energetic coherence. We point and reach with the index finger and feel that energetic coherence, feel the whole body unifying into a state of wholeness. And as we do that gradually, we're going to start to release the grip with the right hand, and the arm is going to use the least amount of energy, the least amount of muscle to maintain its position. So anything less than poof is gone, but we're just doing it. So this is a way of feeling your sung. You point and reach, and you just relax your muscles. And this is, it's really easy to get glib about this. And so, yeah, I got that. But to be able to do it consciously, this is a deliberately simplified exercise so that we can explore the mechanics of this. Because doing it, say, in push hands or something, where someone's, pushing on you, it then becomes much more difficult unless you've really established the foundation there. So you want to get it so that you're able to hold that position, right? Now we're going to pick up the arm and put it into a different position, holding it up from here. Same idea. I let go, boom, right? I want to bring it up here. Good. Now point and reach. And I want to be able to just hang there with the least amount of energy to do that. But what happens once we get into this, what a state of energetic coherence, another thing that happens is that we are activating the tensegrity of the body. So now, instead of supporting my arm, actually, I'm going to go back, bring my arm back down to here. It's easier to demonstrate. So instead of supporting my arm now, I'm going to use my fingers to press down very gently on my wrist as I do that, and maintain the point, maintaining that English, the tensegrity that comes with the energetic coherence and activating the sinews, the connective tissue system. And then you can start pressing harder and harder. And notice that your body then quite naturally starts to regulate the amount of counterforce is present without activating a lot of extraneous muscular tension. And then you let go of that pressure, and your arm is just hanging there, and it's just nice and relaxed. And then you press down again, and you press down harder and harder, and you find that, oh yeah, okay, I am able to generate internal power. And this is an expression of Jin. And I let go of that. And I come down, I press hard, but very abruptly. And my body now is starting to adjust very quickly to that. There's a certain expectation there. And so I'm able to quickly get that. But that requires establishing energetic coherence over and over and over again. So each time I press down, I have to feel that finger again. That's that conscious feeling and conscious doing. And so by doing that, so this is what this is doing is we're creating Jin. We're using our chi to express energy through the body, and it's directed by our consciousness. And this way you can do it in different postures. The four basic energies that I talked about, the first one is the most yang of them all. Actually, it's not. It's a yang one, but chi is even more. But anyway, it's a very yang expression, and that is it's an expression of up and out energy. It's yang. It's expansive, right? And that is called Peng Jin, P-E-N-G. And so to do that, we're going to put your left foot forward. And we'll use the left arm again here. And grab the wrist and bring your arm in front of you so that you're just sort of hanging out there, and then let it go and just nice and relaxed. So bring it up there. So you want the arm to circle in front of your chest. Notice that the elbows drop. But it's not collapsed. It's just reaching out there. So now I'm going to point and reach with my index finger and gradually let go of that and keep that shape. So notice that the palm of my hand is right on my center line, right? I'm not here, I'm not here, I'm not here, I'm right here. And it's fairly close to the body. So you can get some rigid muscular strength by reaching out like that and having it tense like that. But we're talking about something that's soft. So notice that my arm is curved in front of my chest, but it's not very far out. The arm is round. This posture, if I'm not pointing, if I'm not coherent, and I just press in, it's real easy to collapse that because these muscles are not that strong, particularly at the shoulder joint. It collapses rather easily. You can also hurt yourself by trying to do more with your shoulder joint than it's designed to do. But if we create this shape, which is a fairly weak muscular shape, which causes a lot of people to alter the shape to try to find something of power in it. But we're doing this just like here, nice, and it just sort of, the arm just hanging. Now we point and reach with the index finger, and we feel that index finger. You can wiggle a little bit, kind of create that energetic coherence. So you want to feel your finger in your feet. That is, your whole body becomes one unified system. This is what's called Taijiquan in Tai Chi, but it's become one unified system, one energy, one body, and then we slowly let go of our other arm, our supporting hand, and we're using the energy now, the internal power, the Jin, the up and out expansive yang qi, to give us our Peng Jin. And so this is an expression of Peng Jin. It's not the only expression of Peng Jin. You can express Peng Jin in any shape. But this is the way we practice it. We practice it in Tai Chi in this shape. And you're pointing, reaching, you're opening up your shoulder joint, reaching with your elbow so that you have this nice, big, rounded shape here. Now we're going to, let's see, grab under here. So just put your hand under there. You're pointing and reaching, and very slowly start to add pressure. And as you do that, as you add pressure, find yourself pointing and reaching a little more and creating an internal counterbalance of force, internal power to handle that external force, the force of your other hand pulling in. So what I said before was this is a way of testing it yourself. You can test your own shape here by pulling in, and then you can pull in a little more and find yourself just as much as you need and not one bit more to maintain the stability of that shape. And then you relax and let go of your other hand, and there you are. Now feel into it without that external test, without that external pressure on the system, and just feel into that shape. And it feels different than it did when we started, because it's full of Jin now. Now we're going to just let that arm come down, nice and easy. Relax. And we're going to bring it up. So what we're doing is point your index finger. Your arm is very soft. Reach with your wrist. Your fingers are just sort of hanging down. Reach with your elbow and open up your shoulder joint. Rotate your forearm so the palm is facing the center of your chest, right on your center line. And feel the Jin that comes with that. So that, and now just bring your hand out and test it, and just notice that it's much more solid than it was before. And then let that go. And it comes down. And step back. And do a quick check and notice the difference in the energy in your two arms. Notice how they compare. Notice the chi, also the circulation, the blood circulation. Notice how the tingling and pulsing, how it differs between the two arms. Now we're going to step forward with the right foot, and we're going to do the same thing with the right arm. You grab the wrist, bring it up in front of your body, so it's just sort of hanging there, let go, boom, it drops, right? Grab it, bring it up here. So this is establishing that, total relaxation. Let go, boom. Okay, so reach, grab, okay, point. And slowly release the support of your other hand and feel, relax into that shape. You're relaxing into your intrinsic structure. That's the Sung part. The Jin part is we're using our Qi to fill up. So you can think of the Sung, S-O-N-G, as being the Yin part. That is, it's the relaxed, contractive part, the part that moves you toward homeostasis, toward stability, and yang, and Jin being the expansive part. You're filling up with energy to be able to do this work. Now do the same thing here. You're testing, you're pointing and reaching, and the more you pull in with your left hand, the more you point and reach and really feel that connection. Feel it in your feet. You should be really just, the more you stress out the arm, and the more you should feel the energy in your feet as well. And then let that go and just relax into that. And try it again. And push in, point, and reach. You're trying to create a bounce between the force coming in and the internal power expanding outward, the Peng Jin going outward. You want to get that so that it's just the right amount. And then you let go and just relax into that. And then allow your arm to come down. Good. Reach with your wrist, reach with your elbow, rotate your forearm. So you're on your center line there. Feel that right there in the center line. Point and reach with your index finger. Now here, we're going to add the other index finger. Finger my left hand as I'm doing this. And feel that. Feel that expansion to the whole thing. Reach with your elbow and open up your shoulder joint. Reach with your wrist. Reach with the crown of your head. Feel that yang expansion. And exhale and sink into your heels and relax. Let that go. Just step back. Reach with your elbows a little bit, open up your shoulder joints. Feel your three pillars. Reach with the crown of your head. Sink into your heels, reach with your elbows, tuck in your chin. And feel the fullness in your body mind. Feel what it feels like to be full of chi. Your wholeness. This is the wholeness that you're capable of right now. As you expand your capacity for handling bigger chi, it gets bigger. As you expand your understanding chin, it gets bigger. And this is what opens up that spiritual illumination that they talk about in the classics. As you move into the present moment more and more, you enter the gap between thoughts. This is a doorway into spiritual awakening. But it's also the key to martial power and good health. And vitality. Step in. Take a deep breath, go into the balls of your feet, press down the big toes, hands come up. Yang, and then sink into your heels, and yin, let all the chi go, throw it away. Empty out. And pause a moment. You feel into the emptiness. Please have a seat. Valerie.
It's very, very interesting. I have a torn rotator cuff, my right shoulder, and my left shoulder, it's not iffy, but I can tell, treat it kindly. And I don't know why, I love actually that I get amazed that when I feel these things, it's like, oh, but I know it's going to work.
It's a
But
surprise.
yeah, it's a surprise every time. But this was more so, I think, given the situation that, my left arm was up and I'm going, yeah, I'm not going to be able to press very hard before my muscles want to grab on and keep me blah, blah, blah. And because of the situation, my muscles don't want to necessarily grab on. They just want to, okay, no, we're going to relax here. And that was really great with the left arm out. So it was like, it's going to be harder on the right side. No. I mean, I could feel my bicep um kind of protesting a little bit just and I'm doing a lot of PT and Tai Chi and reclaiming lost territory, all of that stuff, getting the muscles back in order. And my arm was up and I could feel my bicep just kind of going, okay, I'm not strong enough. And it was like, you don't have to be strong. You just be present. And it was like, then pressing in on it, it was more, the experience was more dramatic for me
Mhm.
because the muscles couldn't participate in my right arm as they might try to do otherwise. So to feel that Jin working, keeping my arm up there was wonderful. It was really, really, and a testimony to the fact that this stuff works.
Nice.
So, yay, thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. That's great. Good. Anybody else? Scott?
Um, so I had sort of similar but different experience, which was very interesting. I have on my left elbow, I have like tennis elbow. So today when we were, kind of opening up the shoulders, when my shoulder opened up, I guess my shoulder really opened up, and then it turned out that, oh, it's the shoulder's open, but the elbow's blocked. And I got this searing pain. It was like, and I was just standing, I wasn't doing anything, right? It was just, I mean, it wasn't because I did anything, it was energetic. And it eventually went away, but it was like, oh yeah, the shoulder really did open and then it found the next blockage.
Right.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
So I'm assuming, um, like in that, when we're testing ward off, right? You should be able to test it in any direction, right? Up, down, right? It should be. I didn't want to start doing that while you were, but right.
Yeah. So chin can be expressed in any direction. So the key is to, you know, move gently so
Hmm.
that you don't trigger the muscles.
Hmm.
If you move too abruptly, then you're going to get that stress response reaction. Muscles just kick in and out of your control, and you kind of miss the game. So moving at it, you kind of sneak up on it. You put it in nice and gently, and then it opens up gradually. Cool, Debbie.
Well, this was another one of your really deceptively simple, but really hugely complex on the inside. kind of exercise. It brought that back to me again, just how much,
You're
if you describe it, people go, that's nothing. Well, when you actually feel it, it's amazing. And today is the first time I've really noticed that after we've kind of, you come down and you release the chi, and it all, I've always felt it all drain out, and I felt it drain out this time. But then you said, feel the emptiness, and I went, there is no emptiness here. It's just, there was so much energy outside, inside, going back and forth. I was surprised at not being able to feel the emptiness this time.
Cool, Richard.
I'm trying to learn to replace tension with sung. When you start to increase the pressure, the tendency is to fight back against that by pushing. And I'm trying to learn to, as soon as the impulse to push back starts, that I instead relax and try to replace the muscular tension that I want to use with the Jin that is growing. So trying to have the same feeling of resistance without the muscular resistance. I think I know that that's what I'm supposed to be doing. It's kind of difficult.
Yeah, but it's nice because it's something you can do 100 times a day. Just to remind yourself. You don't have to. You can be just sitting there at your desk, and just do that, and just, it gives you, each time you do it, it gives you a reminder of what you're capable of, and that you're able to consciously rewire your body mind so that you're doing this entirely different. It's completely off script. It's like your DNA tells you to do this thing, and we're saying, now we got this other idea. We're going to do this other thing here, which is completely the opposite of what nature is telling us to do.
Right.
But we say, what do you mean relax? That's not how we do it. That's not how we do it here in the jungle.
Right.
That's what we're talking about here. People's like, oh, but you can't just relax. You have to relax into something that's going to give you some sense of security, some sense of power.
I keep telling myself that if I can relax, I can achieve the same resistance without muscular force. And you create that same resistance by relaxing, pointing, putting your intention into moving the energy. And it's coming along very slowly. So it's always best to be in your presence and work with you, but
and back at you. This is fun. Great.
this is as good as it can be at the moment. Yeah.
That's right. Anybody else? Okay. Thank you all so much. It's been really a lot of fun. So,
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Maria.
you.
Love you all. Thank you,
Maria.
production. Thank you, production staff.
Good night, guys.
bye-bye.
All right.